Afterword. We shape our systems, then they shape us. I have a friend who worked for a huge accounting firm. One summer's day lunchtime, as we talked together in his top floor executive office, we looked down into the street below to see hundreds of staff pouring out of a building just across from his, another company's headquarters. They were all headed for their lunch break. My friend turned to me and said, "Do you see them? Tomorrow they'll all be given redundancy notices. It will be a catastrophe. Some will never find another job. Others will face long-term unemployment. Some will become ill, depressed, anxious. Some will become addicted to alcohol or some other drug. Some will lose their relationships and families. Sadly, some may even choose to end their lives." "How do you know?" I asked. He replied, "Because we've bought their company and it's being announced tomorrow." But if you know it will result in this kind of fallout, this terrible human cost, why do you do it? "Because the market demands it," he responded. "What do you mean?" I said. "Well, we have a big company. We are a big company, but we're not the biggest. We must get bigger. That's what the market wants." "But what does your CEO think?" I said. "Oh, he's the one who's pushing it through, though he doesn't want it either. In fact, as a result of the takeover, he'll probably end up losing his job in the end too." We shape our systems, and then they shape us. They shape our world. So here's the thing. As a society, we've chosen to be reactive rather than proactive in our political decision and policy making. We choose to throw our votes and our money at slogan-driven big ideas and then wonder why we suffer the long-term impact of those short-term fixes. The problem is that quick fix, sticking plaster ideas make for poor long-term solutions. But sensible long-term policy making tends not to excite either our politicians or us as the public. The problem is circular. We hold our politicians accountable for the outcomes of their huge and unsustainable vote-winning election promises, which they make either out of their naivety or because they're smart enough to understand our naivety. But what we all know is that though they're likely to get the credit for policies that get turned into a legislation, in the event of their eventual failure, the likelihood is that they'll have moved on or have moved out by then, and it will all become someone else's problem. This, of course, leads to pushing through unthought-through policies as quickly as possible, rather than getting involved in the complicated, protracted, and frustrating details of how things might actually work. And what's more, there are countless well-meaning but ineffective non-governmental organisations who, because their very existence hangs on their undying support for the latest half-baked politically driven idea, simply go along with it just for the cash. It's time to work together to put an end to this political cycle is all that matters thinking and the short-term gimmicky policy making and financial wastage that goes with it. But this will require something new of government and something new of us all. People ask me, have you ever thought of going into politics? By which they mean, do I want to become a local councillor or an MP? Well, here's the thing. I am in politics because we're all in politics. The term politics comes from the word polis, which simply means city. Thus, politics refers to the affairs of the city, the affairs of the community. We all have an important grassroots level role to play in the affairs of both our local communities and our society as a whole. We need, therefore, a mindset change, one that empowers ordinary people and local communities across the country. It will take courage from us all, but it's time to commit to developing more mature and meaningful relationships between government, local authorities, and local charities, grassroots movements, faith groups, and communities. Ones that are built on trust and partnership. Everything we know tells us that only this can transform the life chances of countless young people, families, and local communities. Nothing else will work, however much money we can find to put into the budget. The truth is this: we have a choice. Because we shape our systems, then they shape us and the world we live in. This is my manifesto for hope.